Hi, I'm Tracy Akers. I am a Bont quad star. I skate for Denver on the Mile High Club, and I'm here today to teach you about heat molding. So, first off, we're going to go over what part of the Bont boot that is heat moldable. So this is the inner frame of a Bont boot, which is pretty cool. When you get close up, you'll see that there is an area, a counter area that goes all along the toe and down the side that is all heat moldable. So any bunions or anything, or if you have a longer toe or anything like that, every boot is custom to you. So when you get your new Bont boots, the instructions are to heat mold them in a skating stance. So I'm here to explain what that means to me. I think a lot of times when your Bonts don't fit you right, or if you're getting blisters in the break-in, you either maybe have the wrong size or you maybe didn't heat mold them exactly right. So we'll start with part one. When we skate, we don't just skate like this. This is a really passive position, and most of the time I don't just stand here like this. I'm very dynamic. So when I heat mold my boots, I'm going to be really dynamic. So I'll show you in a minute. I'll put the boots on, but in these shoes, you'll be able to see the way my foot moves and shifts, and how much everything changes when I change position. So when I get really low, because I like to skate low, and then I lean way over. And in my kitchen or whatever, I just like to hold onto a counter or something so my feet stay flat, and I push really hard one way, and you can kind of see my foot shifting. And it's really pressing on the edge, and I think that's a lot of times where those blisters are coming from, because we don't heat mold in this position, but we do get into this position when we skate. So let's get some boots on. So now I got my skates out of the oven, and I have my game day socks on, and I put them on and I laced them as tight as they could go. And now I'm going to start my leaning. So I'm going to, get down in a derby stance, and then lean over as far as I can, and just push as hard as I can into that counter in the skate, really pushing my foot into it to give that extreme motion when I'm skating. And I try and get as low as I can and push, 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 and then I'll just shift over and go the other way. So try to be somewhere where you can have the counter on both sides, just so you can shift back and forth, and push, push, push. And then give a little forward sometimes, and then back and forth. And if you start feeling the skates cooling at all, go ahead and stop for a second, tighten them up, and then keep doing it. And just keep going back and forth into the counters as hard as you can. Extreme position until it's cool. So now I'm going to show you how to heat mold with a heat gun or hair dryer. I use a hair dryer. I don't have a heat gun because I'm not super fancy, but I know a lot of you are. So this is great if you've already have your skates mounted. Or, I just actually like heat molding my skates this way a little more, because I feel like I can really get the spots that I really want to focus on. So I have this fancy heat gun. So basically I am going to heat up one side of my skates, and then do the same thing that we did when it came out of the oven. And then I'm going to wait for it to cool and go to the other side. So let's heat them up. You can go pretty close, just keep it moving, don't stay in one spot, because things will melt. It's a lot of heat. And we'll go to this side. It's just nice. The material itself it's malleable when it's warm, so it's good to know. So now we have one side, so the right side of both my skates are nice and warm and heated, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. I actually do this one in my bathroom because my hair dryer lives in my bathroom. And I'm going to lean in and push, 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 push. And I'm going to stay in this one position until it's absolutely cool. And sometimes it takes a minute, but it's fine, totally worth it. If you heat it up enough, you only have to do this once. Okay, so as you can see in my shoes, when I go and lean and shift, that my foot kind of shifts. And so when I push really hard and lean really hard over, my foot is pushing into this part of my shoe, and then when I come center, kind of goes flat out wide. And then when I push, so you can kind of see that shift. Even though the shoe is tight to me, it fits me everywhere, and that can happen a little with the skate. So it's a big reason why it's important to mold everywhere that your foot could possibly go in that skate or turn. If you see here, you can see the counter, and it kind of runs along the toe here and then down the side, which is pretty cool. So all this area where most of your problem spots are, that's where the counter is, and that's all the area that it's heat moldable. So if you have like a long toe, you can just heat mold out here. If you got a little bunionette or bunion, it just pushes out there.